This is Divyanshu and this is Prachi. And we are conducted an interview. The brand manager is assigned in the course of brand management. So, to start with, could you please give your brief intro to us in which field you are in and what domain you are working in, which brands you are working in?
Right. Hi, Divyanshu. Hi, Prachi. Thanks for having me here. I work as brand executive for Snickers with Mars Wrigley. So maybe not a lot, but by some extent, I would be happy to help you with this when it comes to brands. So shoot away.
Yeah. So, if we talk about the brand value, if we talk about the Snickers, so how do you incorporate that brand value in the particular brand of the Snickers, and how does that translates to your daily work at your marketing place or your brand place?
Okay. So let's start with the brand. What Snickers is, what it stands for. So Snickers is a very blunt, straightforward, down to earth, and a realistic brand. We don't exaggerate. We don't use flowery language. We don't exaggerate any claims. All Snickers does is says exactly what it claims to be, that it is a hunger solver. So if you observe any comms that comes out of the brand, any ad copy that comes out, any campaign, it could be a social media post, it could be anything. What we try our best is that everything that goes out of the brand stays true to the brand, which is being honest, being blunt, being straightforward, at the same time being down to earth, being aware of the culture, being attuned to what is happening around you. So not to be pompous or cocky, but being realistic and saying things how they are. This is what we adapt to our everyday work, everyday marketing activities, campaigns, any kind of communication that goes out. That is how we try to stay true to what brand is.
Yes, and this also incorporates in the day-to-day working of your marketing strategies as well.
Yes,
Uh,
yes, it does.
so if you look at that, you talk about the hunger space. So this is also the positioning strategy because we also need to know about how the Snickers position itself because it's very important. What's the point? What is the points of parity and what's the points of differentiation? So if you can dwell something onto those lines, it would be great.
When it comes to positioning strategy for Snickers, so what uh, it is at the end of the day is that what it says is that uh, um, we give real satisfaction that sorts you out, and that is how we surround all of our efforts, marketing efforts around, where you could be behaving out of sorts and out of hunger. So what Snickers at the end of the day is doing is that it's giving you real satisfaction. It is solving hunger. So that is the main brand proposition that is there. That we give real satisfaction, and it is a hunger solver bar that sorts you out. So this is how we position ourselves in chocolate space, in snacking space as well, where we're only solving for hunger. Taste and indulgence and everything else takes a backseat. It's all about being a substantial snack bar, which helps you
Mm.
with your hunger.
Yeah.
You also mentioned a point of difference, point of parity, that kind of thing. So again, with the point of view of chocolate industry, if it when it comes to competitors for Snickers, every chocolate bar out there is a competitor, right? At the end of the day, we're all selling chocolates. So again, parity would be that we're selling chocolate. Chocolate's delicious. We're using good quality ingredients, and at the end of the day, it is a delicious chocolate bar. It has delicious ingredients like caramel, nougat. There's crunchy peanuts. Milk chocolate is smooth, silky, and really delicious. So we are selling a delicious chocolate that would be make us at par with other chocolate sellers. Point of difference would again, each proposition, each ingredient is unique because you don't see a lot of peanut based chocolate bars, especially in filled bars category. You do not see that very often. And the fact that we harp on, again, hungry emotion, that hunger is a strong emotion and it changes you. you're not yourself when you're hungry, which we always say. So that, I think, for me, I believe that sets us apart in the chocolate space, which is again a clutter because there's so many chocolate sellers out there, and every day there's something new coming up in the chocolate industry. So that's what sets us apart. That we are using an emotion to connect with people, where we say
Hmm.
hungry. Being hungry is a big
Hmm.
emotion,
Yes.
and we have a chocolate for it.
And also, we have seen that in order to make a brand like Snickers, consistency needs to be important in all the marketing communication in whatever stages you go.
Yeah.
So, like, how do you able to do that consistency part of it? Otherwise, the brand essence will be lost if the consistency is lost. So,
That is true, yes. And like I said, the brand essence is that we're a straightforward a brand that solve for hunger. So consistent efforts go into each and every marketing activity, where we need to ensure every time whatever is going out is true to brand, and we do not end up looking like a any generic chocolate brand out there. So again, we take very concise steps for this. One would be that we do ensure that anything that goes out, we speak about hunger. We mention that this is a chocolate bar specifically when you are hungry and not feeling yourself. Um, and also, our main focus is always on the fact that you're not you when you're hungry. So if you see any of our ad copies, any campaigns that go out, you could see our any content on, say, e-commerce or social media is one thing we really try hard to connect with the right TG. Everywhere you would see a common communication pattern where we would be harping on about the fact that this is a hunger solving bar, and you could be feeling out of sorts, and here's the chocolate for you. um, we do ensure this in different ways. At the end of the day, this is what we do to ensure that we don't stray away from the brand, what it is.
there's also one point I like your opinion on. Since the hunger space is quite cluttered, we see that the competitors such as Fuse, Cadbury Fuse, is also trying
Yeah.
to get this particular space. So, like, they are also like initially we know that the Snicker was the harbinger of the hunger space, but when you see the giant like Mondelez pushing in their products or like Fuse, so you need how do you handle that? Sense of how do you handle that particular thing that the competitors are trying to do?
I think hunger space at some point was only occupied by Snickers. Now, Fuse has entered, and rightly mentioned, it is a giant, Mondelez, when it comes to confectionery and chocolates. So it is not easy for us, and it is increasingly becoming competitive because, um, again, all their comms and all marketing strategies are surrounded around, again, hunger and how you act differently when you're hungry or hungry. Um, Another thing that we feel is the space that entering is the ingredients are very similar, right? They're also offering a peanut-based caramel filled bar. So it's not easy for sure, but we are always constantly on our toes, keeping up what's happening. So um, it wouldn't be right to go head to head with a giant like Mondelez. But what we do as of now, as of today, is what I can tell you is that we are trying to, how do I put it, sustain the space we already have. So rather than occupying more space in the market, the intention today is to maintain our position as a hunger solving bar and not lose what we already have. That is why, again, the latest ad copy that we did with Rohit Shetty, or again, lots of big things coming up in 2025, by the way, just look
Yes.
forward to it. So, again, we're trying to sustain what we are, and not dilute our brand essence with
Yeah.
like just a chocolate or filled bar.
Yeah, that's true. Like you mentioned, since you have mentioned about the Rohit Shetty, so Snickers has a long history of that too. It started with Sonam Kapoor. So in brand also, like the celebrity endorsement and what kind of celebrity you choose, whether it is category neutral or whether it is on to the different segment. So like this is also I wanted to dwell something upon on that how does Snickers choose its celebrity because that is also have a persona, and since
Yeah.
the consistent marketing communication, you need to have the consistency in the communication, and the celebrities should attribute to that. So, just I need some glances over this.
Um, that is true. I think not just Snickers, any brand that is out there choosing a brand ambassador or a face of the brand is a very critical decision, right? So Rohit Shetty was chosen after months and months of lots of brainstorming, critical discussions, and whatnot. Um, okay, I'll answer this in two parts. One is why Rohit Shetty we felt as a brand was relevant for this copy, and the rest of it. So Rohit Shetty, we felt that his perception in media or with general public is that he's someone who is very straightforward, right? He keeps it real. He's not a Bollywood celebrity like Sonam Kapoor or Rekha, as our last iconic ad is out there. Sure, he isn't. He's a film director, but he stays true to who he is. Um, there is a very niche cinema that he does. The messaging from his cinema is very specific, very niche. You could say that there's a very specific, again, communication and belief that he believes in. There's a very linear thought behind his work. In his interviews, he keeps it real, whether it's talking about the media trends, industry trends. So that essence we believe is harmonious with what Snickers is, where I mentioned initially to you that uh, being blunt, being straightforward, keeping it real, being down to earth. So uh, again, no pretentiousness around Rohit Shetty. He keeps it real. He says it how it is. So that's what Snickers is, right? So one first part of my answer that why it was decided that he would be a relevant face for the brand. Secondly, for Snickers in particular, what I've understood with my short stint here in this brand is that at the end of the day, sure, it's important who the face of the brand is, but it's also important what we're saying through that face. So, um, I mean, before Rohit Shetty, we had the Dhoni on board, right? Mahendra Singh Dhoni. He is also someone who maybe not as outspoken or maybe loud as Rohit Shetty, maybe not, but you know he's real. He keeps it real. He's grounded. But the fact of the matter is, it also matters what he's saying in that campaign, right? Um, you can't compare Mahendra Singh Dhoni with Rekha or Sonam by any means. But at the end of the day, the ad copy is how we ensure that what is we putting out there is true to the brand. So sure, again, face is important, but what we are saying through that face is also we spend significant amount of time in again deciding that what they're saying. So uh, which is again a common underlying theme in all our ad copies where someone transforms themselves because they're hungry, they're acting out of sorts, eats a Snickers, becomes goes back to normal. Again, common theme. We're saying the same thing with different faces in different timelines. So when choosing a brand ambassador again, who he is sure is important, but at the same time, what we're saying through that face is a critical piece for us.
Yeah, that's the brilliant piece that you have put forward. So, like we have been always taught in the theory about the brand identity and the brand image. So, the identity that we have taught is that what brand perceives of itself, and the image what the consumers feels about the brand. So, there's always generally what we feel is that there's always a gap between both of them, the identity and the image.
Yeah.
So, like, how do we handle that, and what is the criteria? How do you do that to bridge that gap? Because even the giants does face this problem of the gap between the identity and the image.
Yeah, that is true. That is there. I mean, it doesn't matter who you are as a brand, whether you're a giant or maybe you're a new entrant. There would always be significant gaps in your again brand image and identity because I could be harping on about my brand guidelines or my brand essence or whatever fancy word you call it. I want to be perceived as the best hunger bar. I want everybody to pick up a Snickers bar when they're hungry, but that's not always true, right? Maybe somebody just wants a samosa when they're hungry, so you can't help that. That is there and that will always be there. There are gaps because we constantly do lots of research also, consumer immersions, consumer sampling, and lots of research are constantly happening, and we hear a lot from consumers. There have been we've noticed a lot of times that that perception of people when it comes to Snickers. Um, so it is a peanut based bar for them. It has caramel, and sure, it might be tasty for some people. but it being perceived as a hunger bar, that is still a work in progress, is what we've observed lately. Hence, again, why we uh, uh, do all our copies around "you're not you when you're hungry" or "hungry, grab a Snickers." You will see this everywhere. Again, doesn't matter where it is, whether it's e-commerce, whether it's your social media, whether it's your we do a lot of TV, we do lots of digital, we do lots of YouTube. Again, ad copies coming up. We do not experiment with our copy. So ensuring that we harp on the same line of communication, we say the same thing, maybe differently through different channels and mediums, is how we strive, how we want there be a balance between the two things.
Yes.
But gap is there. That is there.
That's a great way. And so if we talk about the certain physical attributes, like the packaging, that is also one of the major component of the branding. And also if you look at the logo part of the brand, logo, whether it is the trademark or anything that a person relates with the brand. So I think we would like to know the perspective of Snickers on that, specifically the packaging, because that is one of the major identity of a particular brand, because that
Hmm.
is how the consumer interact with that brand. So a history or something on to those lines will be great, like how to design some of the even new bars.
Uh, is there anything specific you'd like to know about the packaging? I might not have understood your question
Yeah, so
correctly.
particularly like how do you the essence will be same about the consistency in the packaging also. The packaging also signifies something. The logo, as you told, hungry eater Snickers. So like the packaging so should also communicate the basic essence of the coloring schemes used, because that is also.
Okay, I see. So I'll tell you what, with packaging, there is not a lot we can do as a brand here, because it is a global brand and there's a global mandate that you are supposed to follow. So there's not much you can move around or experiment with or change or revise when it comes to packaging. So because like I said, there are mandates, lots of strict mandates when it comes to brands, packaging, there's logo, there's everything. Though there is again not a lot of space to move things around. However, we do a lot of new launches, right? There's a core Snickers bar that has been there in the market, India and abroad, since years. But we do launch a lot of new flavors in India. So I think in that space, this question could be answered that while there are new flavors being added to the existing recipe, um, just being consistent with the brand flag, the iconic red, white, blue colors of Snickers, that big bold logo, big fonts, again bold typography, that is ensured, that is there on not just packaging, any kind of creatives that go out there. Again, the kind of communication that goes on pack. So if you read closely on the pack, there's always very straightforward, no fancy language, straight up saying that contains this ingredient in your favorite hunger bar, in your favorite Snickers bar, straight up. So we do not use fancy words, we don't not use flowery language on the packaging, and it just says what is there in the pack. Contains nuts, contains peanuts, contains nougat, this. So again, I think through straightforward, direct communication, and through using the consistent brand flag and the bite and the flavor, it is ensured that it stays within that. Uh, 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 how do I say this brand frame where it should belong to the portfolio. So we do move things around when it comes to our variants, but core Snickers bar is a core Snickers bar. No space to move things around.
That's answer the questions. Like also we want to to know about the brand equity which the Snickers possesses. Although the Snickers entered India recently, but as a whole, the Snickers brand equity is huge. It takes a lot of efforts to create that particular brand equity. So, since it is a global brand, now if the Snickers India has to improve the brand equity of the brand, so like what steps
Hmm.
the Snickers take? And also, adding on to that question, I like about the KPIs. What are the basic KPIs that, as a brand manager, you measures to know that how your brand is doing? What are the new challenges that it is facing? So, a very brief onto that will be also helpful.
Okay. Uh, I think. See, ensuring brand equity comes at the very end. We work hard all year round, and then we do see what has happened, what has changed as compared to the previous year. So everything that we do, I think, is we're doing for the brand equity. When it comes to again measuring it, or again seeing where we are, there's we uh, uh, I guess keep a track of a lot of metrics. We check again periodic basis per household penetration, how it is, what is the market share changing. We track it month by month. There's distribution. There's a offtake per distributor. There's lots of metrics. What else is there? We do also this share of voice, share of market. Uh, so I think what how I answer this. Okay, there are lots of metrics. When it comes to sales, we see market share and offtake and distribution. And within distribution, there's again lots of metrics. When it comes to media, we see share of voice. Again, if it's a particular campaign, we're seeing how what the impressions are, what the reach is. When it comes to household penetration, there is again 100 metrics. Everything is measured. Some things we measure annually, some things are done on a daily basis, some things monthly. But I think for different things, there's different metrics, but we do. These are the major ones.
Yeah. So like you made us go through the whole brand quite a lot. So in last question, I would like to know how does a day in a brand manager's life look like? So since like we are aspiring to some wants to be we are aspiring brand managers taking the subject of brand manager. So a question that should be pointed out is that how's the day in a brand manager's life look
Oh
like?
God. I think this is the question I should have come prepared for because there is so much. I'm not exaggerating here, by the way, but it's sometimes some things skip my mind that what do I do all day? If somebody asks me, I do lots of things, but uh, a day in a brand manager's life would be a chaotic day. Let me warn you, straightforward. It would be a chaotic day. And, you would not know when the day is ending when it starts. So that is there. But so lots of things are happening, right? When you're a brand manager in FMCG in particular, you would be planning to launch a product by the end of the year, and you are in the start of the year. So there is research, there is production planning, there's ordering of material, there's again packaging and whatnot. That is there with new product launches. You could also be doing planning to do media campaign. So you could be doing TV, you could be doing digital or YouTube. So you would be having a media agency a brainstorming session where you need to know what other brands are doing first. Secondly, how your brand has performed so far. Basis that you'll see what your goals for the coming period is or coming year is. Basis these three things, you might be deciding your media plan. How much do you want to spend? How many people do you want to reach through your TV or your digital campaign? So there is that. Then you might be thinking, because I'm launching a new product, I also want to launch a new ad campaign. So you might be having a brainstorming session with a creative agency where again brand ambassador and whatnot comes in. There's a script, there's a j- so just deciding the script is a month-long process. You would be shortlisting your brand ambassador. You will be again analyzing who fits with your brand, what their reach is, what their image in the with general public is, how do they fit in. Then you could be doing a lot of social media. So anything that goes out there, you would be checking what kind of posts you're putting out there. If people are actually seeing them, or are you just making yourself happy that see मैं तो social media पे post कर रहा हूँ. So that is there. Small but a very important part of your day-to-day marketing. What else you could be doing? You could be planning for 3 years in advance. So today, sitting in 2025, you might be planning what you want to launch in 2026, 27, or 28. So lots of planning for that. Um, and this all happens in a day, by the way. So uh, again, media, production, ad campaigns, research, new product development, all these, I think, at the same time.
That's quite a lot of things to do in a particular same time.
Oh God, you have no idea.
Yeah. Thank you, Palak, for giving us your time. Like we had a very fruitful discussions onto the brands and We tried to cover each and every aspects, and your opinions were really fruitful for us. Like it was a new charisma, new charm of how the brands work. Really, we have just
Um,
went through the. Uh,
I'm happy to help. I'm happy to help you. And if there's anything else I can help you with, please let me know. I know we planned to meet. We've been planning for a long time, and I believe I've been blowing you off for a long time. Uh, I apologize. Lots of things happen every day. This is a I have a very busy day usually. So I was trying to take out time for you guys. I couldn't. Apologies for that. But I'm happy to help in any way that I can. And again, all the very, very best for your project. I would love to hear about it actually. What is it that you're going to do? And what are you expected to? Is there a presentation? Is there a project? What is it? So
So, like
happy to
particularly,
help.
we have to take the perspectives of a different segments. So first would be the first priority would be the brand manager. After
Hmm.
that, we have to take the opinion of the sales department on the perspective of the brand manager is, and then another department should be taken into the account, and the whole thesis should be submitted. That what is the perception of each other. We have found that many times there's a lot of conflict of interest between different departments.
Yeah, of course.
So
Always.
yeah.
Yeah.
So like it was trying to gaining the perspective, majorly the brand manager and the related fields, because it never works in the silos. It is always about
Yeah. Never.
yes.
Yes.
So
So because very different teams they work together, there would always be conflicts, but there will always be. I think at the end of the day, would be sitting together for the same. So you are thinking about the business at the end of the day, right? It doesn't matter if you're in sales or marketing. You could be having, I think, conflicting opinions, but everybody's working for the business.
yeah.
Good to know. Is this any particular project that you're working on? I should have asked this first, but
Hmm.
well,
So like
this
this
is
is
good.
about the brand management course that we are working on. So this is a mandatory assignment that we need to work on, and like we have to collate
Acha.
all the interviews of the brand managers. So this
So how many brand managers are you interviewing for
so like
this?
this is you are the only person we are interviewing.
Acha. Oh
Yes.
God. Well, I really hope you score well on this. I think it depends on my answer. So
that is
no
that.
pressure, I guess, but a little pressure.
No, that
All
would
the best.